So you're thinking about buying a home,
Uh,
and you were smart enough to send us some materials to look through about the emotional side of buying a home.
Yeah.
Especially for first-time buyers.
right.
We're looking at, hold on tight, your home buying survival guide,
Okay.
some advice from Zillow, and even a piece on Texas homebuyers psychology.
Interesting.
He really seemed to be trying to get a grip on all of the emotions involved.
Mhm.
Well, let's dive into all of this together.
Yeah, let's take a look at this emotional roller coaster.
Definitely an emotional roller coaster.
I think one of the things that's really fascinating in all of these sources
Yeah.
is how much they emphasize the emotional side of buying a home.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a financial decision.
Right.
It really is a psychological,
Yeah.
it's like a psychological obstacle course in a way.
For sure. One guide I was looking at called it a medley of feelings.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? They're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get swept up in the excitement, picturing yourself in the place almost like you live there already.
I know it's true.
I can totally see that.
Yeah. That's what in psychology we call attachment.
Okay.
And, you know, attachment is one of these very powerful psychological forces that can sometimes
Yeah.
lead to some risky decisions.
Oh.
And this is something we see in the research too.
Okay.
There was this really interesting study that found that buyers
Yeah.
who reported feeling a strong emotional connection to a property were much more likely to overbid,
Oh, really?
sometimes by tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow. That's a little bit scary, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can definitely see myself falling into that trap,
Yeah.
especially if it's a house with a gorgeous chef's kitchen.
Oh, of course.
I don't know if I go tens of thousands over budget, but I could see myself getting caught up in the moment.
It's very understandable.
Yeah.
And that's where having a clear budget and a list of priorities is really, really crucial.
Okay.
It's like having a roadmap to keep you on track when those emotions start to kind of pull you in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you can even use your emotions to your advantage.
Oh, okay.
Instead of just thinking, I love this kitchen,
Right.
maybe shift your thinking to, okay, a spacious kitchen is a top priority for me.
Mm.
Does this kitchen truly meet my needs
Right.
and fit within my budget?
So it's not about suppressing the excitement,
Right.
but channeling it in a smart way.
Exactly.
Now, one thing that kept popping up in these sources was this idea of a real estate agent being like an emotional GPS.
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts on that analogy?
Oh, I think it's an interesting one.
Is it putting too much pressure on the agent?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's a really helpful way to frame the role that a good agent can play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they can help you navigate those twists and turns,
Yeah.
especially when those intense feelings start to cloud your judgment.
Okay.
They can offer objective advice.
Right.
They can help you decode market trends and even help you set realistic expectations.
Yeah.
Remember, they've been through this process many times before,
Right.
and they've seen firsthand how emotions can impact a buyer's decisions.
So it's almost like finding an agent.
Yeah.
That's a mix of financial advisor and therapist and cheerleader all rolled into one.
Absolutely.
Where do you even begin to find someone like that?
Well, one of the Zillow articles actually had some great advice on this,
Oh, good.
and it really boils down to communication.
Okay.
Being upfront about your needs and your anxieties. Do you need someone who's super analytical?
Right.
Or do you need more of a handholder?
Okay.
Being clear about this from the get-go can really help you find an agent who's truly the right fit.
So finding the right agent is key.
Absolutely.
And being honest about what you need from them is crucial.
Yeah.
Now, these sources also keep mentioning self-care.
Mhm.
I'm all for taking care of myself.
Yeah.
But how does that actually help with buying a house?
Well, you know, think of it this way. Buying a home is a marathon,
Right.
not a sprint.
Okay.
There are going to be ups and downs,
Yeah.
moments of excitement and moments of frustration.
For sure.
And practicing self-care things like getting enough sleep, exercising, managing stress,
Yeah.
these things will really help you stay grounded
Okay.
and make clear-headed decisions even when things get hectic.
One article recommended something called mindfulness meditation.
Oh, wow.
And they suggested scheduling short breaks into your house hunting schedule
Okay.
to just decompress and recenter.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And don't forget to celebrate the small wins along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Getting pre-approved for a mortgage,
Right.
finding a neighborhood that you love, even just crossing a house off your list.
Okay.
You know, acknowledging these little victories can really keep you motivated
Hey.
and prevent burnout.
Yeah.
It's a long game.
Okay, so self-care isn't just about bubble baths and face masks.
Right.
It's about staying mentally and emotionally strong throughout this whole process.
Exactly. That's the key. And speaking of those ups and downs,
Yeah.
we haven't even touched on the sheer range of emotions
Right.
you might cycle through
Yeah.
during this process. It's not just happy or sad.
Okay.
It's a whole spectrum.
So paint me a picture.
Okay.
What kind of emotional roller coaster are we talking about?
Well, the Zillow article
Yeah.
actually broke down the emotional stages of home buying.
Oh, wow.
And it's really quite insightful. It starts with this
Yeah.
uncertainty and apprehension,
Okay.
especially when you're talking finances with a lender.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably be sweating bullets during that conversation.
Totally understandable.
Yeah.
Then comes the excitement
Okay.
of starting your search,
Right.
the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah.
But that can quickly morph into overwhelm
Okay.
as you're touring house after house, comparing features,
Right.
and trying to envision yourself in each space.
I can definitely see how that could get exhausting, especially in a competitive market where you might feel pressured to make a quick decision.
Absolutely.
What happens then?
Well, that's when the Zillow article
Yeah.
talks about the potential for buyer's remorse,
Oh, no.
that nagging feeling of doubt
Okay.
that can kind of creep in after you've committed to a purchase.
Right.
Maybe you start second guessing your choices,
Yeah.
wondering if you made the right decision or if you overpaid.
I can totally relate to that. It's like that feeling you get after a big online shopping spree,
Uh-huh.
except it's a house and not a pair of shoes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, those feelings are completely normal.
Okay.
It's a huge decision with long-term implications.
Right.
So it's natural to have some doubts.
Okay.
The key is to recognize those feelings
Yeah.
and address them head on.
So what's the antidote to buyer's remorse?
Well,
How do you prevent those doubts from spiraling into full-blown regret?
one strategy is to go back to your list of priorities. Remind yourself why you chose this particular house. Does it still align with your needs and your long-term goals?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the emotions of the moment,
Right.
but grounding yourself in those practical considerations
Yeah,
can help you stay focused on the big picture.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And, remember, it's okay to reach out to your support system.
Right.
Talk to your agent, your partner, your friends, anyone you trust
Okay.
about your feelings.
Yeah.
Sometimes just voicing those doubts
Right.
can really help you gain clarity and perspective.
It seems like communication is a recurring theme here.
It is.
Being open with your agent, your loved ones, even yourself about what you're feeling.
Precisely.
Okay.
And speaking of communication,
Yeah.
the sources also highlight the importance of being assertive, but respectful
Right.
when dealing with sellers and other agents.
Okay.
It's about finding that balance between advocating for your needs without coming across as aggressive
Yeah.
or demanding.
I imagine that can be tricky,
It can.
especially when you're feeling stressed or emotional.
Yeah,
Do any of the sources offer any specific tips
they do.
for navigating those tricky conversations?
One guide recommended using I statements
Okay.
to express your feelings and needs without blaming or attacking the other party.
Okay.
So, for example, instead of saying
Right.
you're being unreasonable about the closing date,
Yeah.
try saying something like,
Okay.
I'm feeling anxious about meeting that deadline. Could we explore some alternative options?
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
It takes the focus off of blame,
Right.
shifts it toward collaboration and problem solving.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And remember,
Yeah.
it's okay to take a break from the conversation.
Okay.
If things start to get too heated,
Right.
step away for a bit, take some deep breaths,
Yeah.
come back to it when you're both calmer. That can prevent disagreements from escalating
Right.
into full-blown arguments.
Now, these articles also mention something called analysis paralysis. Is that just another term for overthinking?
Well, it can be a form of overthinking,
Okay.
but it's specifically that feeling of being so overwhelmed
Right.
by choices and information
Yeah.
that you become frozen
Okay.
and unable to make a decision.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah.
I can spend hours researching different mortgage lenders
I know.
or agonizing over paint colors.
It's so easy to get stuck in that.
Right.
And while it's important to do your due diligence,
Yeah.
getting stuck in that analysis paralysis
You okay?
can actually cause you to miss out on great opportunities.
Oh,
One of the Texas-focused sources
yeah.
emphasized the importance of setting clear priorities early on
Okay.
to combat this.
So knowing what you absolutely need
Right.
versus what would be nice to have
Exactly.
help you narrow down your options and prevent getting bogged down.
And endless comparisons.
It's about creating a decision-making framework that's based on your values and your long-term goals.
Okay.
Rather than getting swayed by every little detail or emotional impulse.
And if you find yourself getting stuck, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Absolutely.
A good real estate agent can be a valuable resource.
For sure.
In helping you prioritize your needs, narrow down your options, and make those tough choices with confidence.
Exactly.
It seems like having a trusted agent by your side can be invaluable throughout this whole process.
Yeah.
Not just for the technical aspects, but also for the emotional support.
Absolutely.
Now, I know we talked about Texas-specific advantages earlier, but I'm curious to learn more.
Okay.
Are there any specific programs or resources
There are.
that first-time homebuyers in Texas should know about?
Well, there are quite a few, actually.
Okay.
The Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs
Offers several programs designed to make homeownership more accessible,
Okay.
including down payment assistance,
Oh, wow.
mortgage credit certificates,
Okay.
and fixed-rate mortgage loans.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Are these programs open to everyone?
Well,
Or are there specific eligibility requirements?
there are some income and credit score requirements,
Okay.
but they're generally quite flexible.
Okay.
And many cities in Texas have their own
Oh.
local programs and initiatives
Okay.
to support first-time homebuyers.
So it's definitely worth doing your research
Right.
and exploring what resources are available in your specific area.
Yeah.
Where's a good place to start?
Well, the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs website is excellent,
Okay.
as are the websites of local housing authorities and city governments.
Okay.
And of course, a good real estate agent can guide you through the process
Right.
and help you determine which programs you might qualify for.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. From the emotional stages of home buying to the importance of communication and self-care
Right.
to those valuable Texas-specific resources.
Oh.
But I feel like we're just scratching the surface
Yeah.
of the psychological aspects of this whole process. There's a whole other layer here.
Right.
Like there's a hidden language of emotions at play
Yeah.
in home buying. Understanding it can be a real game changer.
Yeah. It really is fascinating.
So we're not just talking about, feeling excited about a walk-in closet or something.
Right.
We're talking about these
Yeah.
deeper psychological forces that might be driving our choices without us even realizing it.
Yeah. One of the sources, this article by a Texas real estate agent,
Okay.
really dives into this.
Oh, wow.
And they talk about
Yeah.
how our emotions can subtly influence our decisions,
Right.
sometimes even leading us down paths we hadn't even considered.
Okay.
They call it the psychology of scarcity,
The psychology of scarcity.
and it plays a huge role in these hot real estate markets.
Yeah, okay.
When you feel like there aren't enough good homes out there,
Right.
or that they're being snatched up left and right,
Mm-hmm.
it can trigger this fear of missing out.
Oh, yeah. The FOMO.
That FOMO
Yeah.
we hear so much about.
That makes people act impulsively,
Yeah, it does.
especially when they're feeling,
Right.
stressed and overwhelmed by the process.
Absolutely. And, the research backs this up.
Not really.
There have been studies that have shown
Okay.
that when people perceive something as being scarce, they actually value it more,
Wow.
even if it's objectively not that different from something
Interesting.
that's readily available.
So how do you avoid falling into that trap? How do you keep a cool head
Right.
when everyone around you seems to be losing theirs?
Well, this Texas agent recommends trying to shift your mindset
Okay.
from scarcity to abundance.
Okay.
So instead of focusing on what you might miss out on,
Right.
try focusing on
Okay.
the wide range of options that are available.
I mean, that's easier said than done when you're looking at houses and you're going to open houses and you're seeing all these other eager buyers.
I hear you. It takes practice.
Yeah.
But one practical tip is to limit your exposure to those triggers
Okay.
instead of, constantly scrolling through real estate listings or attending every open house in town. Try to be more selective.
Okay.
Focus on properties that truly align with your priorities.
Yeah.
Give yourself permission to walk away from something
Okay.
that doesn't feel right.
Right.
Even if it seems like a hot property.
It's almost like you need to create your own little bubble of sanity
Yes.
amidst the chaos of the market.
Exactly. And,
Yeah.
another key to staying grounded
Okay.
is to really connect with your why.
Go why?
Why are you buying a home in the first place? What are your long-term goals?
Right.
What are your aspirations? Keeping that bigger picture in mind can really help you stay focused
Right.
and make decisions that are aligned with your values rather than being swayed by external pressures.
It's like having a North Star to guide you when things get stormy.
That's a great way to put it.
But what about those times
Yeah.
when you're just feeling completely stuck? You know, you've seen so many houses.
Right.
They all start to blur together.
Yeah.
And you can't seem to make a decision.
Yes.
What then?
Analysis paralysis.
Right.
It's a common experience.
Yeah.
Especially for first-time buyers.
Right.
Who are just bombarded with information and options.
So many options.
One of the most effective strategies, I think,
Yeah.
for overcoming this
Okay.
is to really break down that decision-making process into smaller, more manageable steps.
So instead of trying to make one giant leap,
Right.
you were taking a series of smaller steps.
Precisely.
Okay.
So, for example,
Yeah.
instead of trying to choose between 10 different neighborhoods at once,
Right.
start by narrowing it down
Okay.
to your top 3 based on your must-haves.
Your must-haves.
Then within each neighborhood,
Yeah.
focus on a few key criteria.
Okay.
School districts, commute, times proximity to parks. By breaking down the decision into these smaller chunks,
Right.
you can reduce that feeling of overwhelm
Okay.
and start to make progress
Yeah.
without feeling paralyzed.
It's like that old saying, how do you eat an elephant?
Right.
One bite at a time.
Exactly.
And you know it's okay to ask for help along the way.
Absolutely.
Your real estate agent can be a valuable resource for helping you prioritize your needs, navigate those tough choices,
Right.
and ultimately
Yeah.
make a decision that feels confident and informed.
I think that's key.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of potential pitfalls.
Yeah.
Attachment, FOMO,
Right.
analysis, paralysis. But what about the positive emotional aspects?
Oh, there are so many.
Yeah.
But buying a home.
What can people look forward to?
Well, I think one of the most rewarding aspects
Yeah.
is that sense of accomplishment
Okay.
that comes with achieving a major life goal. Buying a home is a big step,
It is.
and it's something to be proud of.
I bet it feels amazing
Yeah.
to finally get those keys in your hand and know that this place is yours.
Absolutely. And then there's the joy of creating a space
Right.
that truly reflects your personality and your style.
Your own space.
It's your canvas to express yourself,
Yeah.
to build a sanctuary where you can relax,
Right.
recharge,
Okay.
and make memories with loved ones.
And even the process itself,
Yeah.
as challenging as it can be an opportunity for growth and self-discovery.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, you're learning about yourself,
Right.
priorities, your
Yeah.
financial habits.
It's a crash course in adult core
Yeah, in the best possible way.
in the best possible way.
Then let's not forget the sense of community
Oh, that's right.
that often comes with homeownership, whether it's getting to know your neighbors, participating in local events,
Right.
or simply feeling like you belong in a place.
Yeah.
Buying a home can be a powerful way to put down roots and build connections.
I think that's a great point.
Wow, we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the emotional roller coaster, the psychological forces at play,
Right.
the importance of self-care and communication,
Yeah.
and even some Texas-specific advantages. It's been an incredible journey.
It has been.
I hope our listener feels empowered and equipped
Right.
to navigate this process with confidence and clarity.
That's the goal.
It's your journey.
It is.
You have the power to create a home buying experience that is both successful and fulfilling.
I agree.
So as we wrap up, what final piece of advice
Oh,
would you give to someone?
starting their home buying adventure.
Embrace the journey
Embrace the journey.
with all of its ups and downs.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. Celebrate your wins.
Okay.
And most importantly, trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
You got this.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And to our listener, happy house hunting.
Yes, happy house hunting.
May your journey be filled with joy discovery and maybe even a little bit of magic.
Absolutely.